Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fans React. This is FanCast episode 14. Today, we've got a face that many of you might recognise, Deano from SAFCFanTV. Thanks for coming on, Deano, mate.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
No worries. How are you doing anyway? We've been talking, everybody's talking about these lockdowns and restrictions. Have you been coping okay with it?
Well, I wouldn't say, say I'm working, so it takes me my. It's not like I'm cooped up in the house, so I'm working. As people might not know, I work for Amazon, so I'm always busy. I get days off here and there when I feel like I can't go in. I'll just say, is there any chance of a day off? Blah blah blah. But other than that, it hasn't been the worst for me. Like I know what others are affected in different ways. For me, it's just been the norm for me, really. The
Yeah.
only thing I miss is going out with my friends, going to pictures, going for meals, playing football. So they're the things I miss.
Yeah, totally get that, mate. Anyway, so as I said, just mentioned before, you're a regular on SAFCFanTV. I think obviously you started at the very beginning when it was created, didn't you? Could you just let us know what made you get involved with SAFC Fan TV, and what it felt like the first time you actually went out holding the camera to get interviews?
Well, as you might know, I used to work with Sean Milton, Milky. You know, he's got a lot of names. I used to work with him at Nissan, driving the cars, and I remember um, he it wasn't him who messaged us. It was our friend James. He messaged us saying, "Would you help Milky or Sean do like hold the camera for him while he interviews fans?" I says, "What you on about?" He says, "Well, Sean's asked me to do it, but I don't want to do it." And I says, "You would do it." I says, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, someone's setting up a fan channel and they would be interviewing fans outside the ground." And I says, "Yeah, I'll do it," because I used to watch Arsenal Fan TV at the time, and I
Yeah.
thought, why not? I mean, all I'm doing is stand there with a camera. I'm behind the camera. No one knows who I am. I just stand there and Sean does all the interviewing. I thought, yeah, why not? So the next day I went in to see Sean, and Sean asked us, would you do it? Because James says you would do it. I says, yeah, I'll do it. But at the time, Sean was a bit wary about doing it because he was going to go and meet with Philly. And he's like, I don't know whether I can, I don't know. And I talked him around a little bit, and I was just like, just go and see what he has to say, see what it's about. And if you do want to do it, then don't do it. But it can't do any harm. So just see what he has to say. And obviously from there, he decided he wanted to do it. And the first game was who was it against, man? I can't remember who the first game was against, but I think it was a draw. I think it was a really poor game, and obviously I had the camera ready, and he was a bunch of nerves, but while he was interviewing, he got more confident. He grew in confidence. But the first time it got put on YouTube, the mic quality was awful. It was
Yeah.
like really, really bad. I don't know what it was. It might have been the equipment we were using at the time, but obviously during the time it's getting better. We're using better cameras, better audio. But yeah, it was something different for me because, like you say, I'd never done anything like that before, and it was all right. It was canny. It was nice. It was different.
Were you nervous at all?
Not. I'm just standing there with a camera. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone these days has the camera phone out anyway, recording loads of daft things. So I'm just standing there watching Sean. Basically, what it is, I'm watching Sean do his thing, but I'm just holding the camera. Sometimes I forget I'm holding the camera because I'm not looking through the camera. I'm just looking at Sean, and then sometimes I'm a bit further down. I need to go up.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
easy to lose concentration. It is.
Yeah, I've watched every episode, like from the start. I've watched the channel, so I know what you're talking about with the quality of the audio at the beginning. But yeah, it's massively improved, and I really loved it. It's a shame we can't get outside the stadiums because them reactions, some of them were hilarious. But I've also noticed you got like, it sounded like a lot of sort of aggression at times from fans. What is that sometimes off-putting or intimidating? I know you're, like you say, you're only holding the camera, but you've got drink-fueled fans. We've been playing shite. We've got beat. It must be. There must be. I mean, I know if it was me, and I'm like all right in front of the camera, but like if it was me, even just holding the camera, I'd be a little bit nervous. I must admit.
Well, see for me, the home games were never bad
Mm,
because there's loads of Sunderland fans around. Yeah, some of them are angry. Some like everyone's got different opinions. So the home games were never as bad. It was the away games which were the worst because everyone's been drinking all day. The travel down there, and the worst one. the first one, which I thought it was it wasn't very nice being behind the camera, was Bolton away. That was when we drew 1-1 and we scored in the last minute with a pen. That was horrible. That was very intimidating. Fans were kicking off, and they always go for the people with a camera and microphone, don't they? Not
Yeah,
knowing that, like them, some people go on like we want that to happen so we can get bad reactions, but it's not the case at all. I want Sunderland to win all the time, but them don't see it. Them just see, oh, he wants me to get beat, so he can get loads of views on his YouTube and all that stuff. So sometimes we do get like 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 words shouted at her and stuff like that. But Bolton was probably the worst I've ever felt. But sometimes away games when we win, I think it was Doncaster away, fans were all over her, jumping
yeah.
around, singing, dancing. It's great, but it is what it is. If we win, everyone's in there for it. Everyone wants to interview, but when we get beat, everyone's like, "Oh, go and piss off" and all that.
Yeah.
It's by the by, really.
Do you think some of the fans actually think you're the official club channel or something like that? I get the impression some of them think that you're working for the club, if you know what I mean.
No, I just think they just see because we wear red coats and it's got SAFCFanTV on the back. Them just see we as a target.
Yeah.
Like, look at them, they try to get people to rip into the team, rip into the manager, and I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is. It's one little thing. Don't get us wrong, Sean's not fazed by it. Sean's not fazed. But me, I mean, I've got me back to loads of people for all I know. Someone might take a swing at us. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's so, and I've got to watch Sean, where Sean can look around and stuff like that. Where I've got me back, and when there's an angry fan behind you shouting abuse and all that stuff, you're like, yeah, someone could easily just take a swing at me here, and there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do. So that's the only thing I don't like about it, to be fair.
Yeah, I get that. Just quickly, still sticking with SAFC Fan TV. I've noticed a lot of the fans on the channel think of you as the miserable one, the Doominator. Do you understand where they're coming from with that, or do you just think everybody's overly sort of optimistic and you're more realistic?
Just my opinions. I mean, I mean, everyone has their own opinions on certain things. If I disagree with someone, I'll never call them a clown or you don't know what you're talking about. It's when it gets personal what I don't like. Um, I'm not going to be positive for the sake of being positive. I'll say it how I feel. I mean, when the team plays crap, I'll I'll say it. I'll say it's been crap. The performance has been awful. Like, for example, it's about the performances. I've been going on about performances. Yeah, we're winning games, but we're playing awful. It's only a matter of time before a team just turns we're over or we get beat by a team we should be beaten because we're playing this bad. But everyone's, oh, we're winning games. What's the problem? But when we get beat, and people will start going, oh, the performance was terrible. But I've been saying, even when we're winning, the performances have been terrible. It's only when we're winning, everyone just wants to be positive. I
Yeah,
want to see a performance. If I see a performance and I'm thinking, that's a really good performance, but we didn't get the result, I cannot lay into the lads. I cannot give any criticism because I know we'll try our best. It just wasn't our day. We might hit the bar 5 times, keep I made really good saves, but it's not that. It's not. That's not the case. We're getting beat, playing badly, and we're winning playing badly. But everyone just wants, oh, we won. It doesn't matter. No, the performance matters.
yeah.
For me, at the end of the day, the performance matters.
Yeah, I totally agree. We had a slightly heated discussion on this channel during a live stream. I think it was a previous game actually. Some of the fans I don't get they don't believe that performance matters at all. As long as we get the 3 points, I suppose they're right in the sense if we could guarantee getting 3 points with every game, then the performance doesn't matter that much. But even for me, the performance still matters in the sense of you want to be able to enjoy the game. Like honestly, God, I had a Sunderland fan say they're not bothered about whether it's entertaining. They're not bothered about enjoying it. All they want is the 3 points, and that's all that matters. I just can't get my head around that at all. Have you found fans saying the same thing, or?
Well, yeah, Sean says it. Sean always says it's only about the results. As long as we win, it doesn't matter. But when you think of it like this, if the team's playing really well, we're winning games, we're getting beat the odd time, but we're in contention for promotion, you would be confident that that team could compete in the championship because we're playing that well. But when you're playing like we are, and think if we did get promoted, you'd be like, this squad's got no hope in hell. of staying in the Championship because we kind of play football. We're scraping teams because that's what we do. We scrape against teams. We're just scraping the barrel, just nicking the goal here and there. So everyone says, "Oh, this team's not good enough to compete in the Championship." But if we're playing well and dominating teams, everyone would say, "If all we need is one or two signings, we'll be able to stay in the Championship next season." That's how I look at it.
Yeah, so we'd pretty much need a total team overhaul. If this team did manage to get us promoted, see if we got finished sixth, got through to the playoffs, scraped the win in the final, we'd need to. I mean, I think we've got about 10 players or something out of contract anyway, but we would need that many players at least, wouldn't we, to come in and sort of push for promotion, right, to sort of survive in the Championship.
Well, if you look at the team now, how many players would you say is good enough for the Championship? I can only think about maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And some of them are like, I think McGeady's great, but he's getting on, and he's not. Would he be able to do it in the Championship? I don't know.
Do you think he's great? Like everyone goes on about McGeady, he's not
Yeah.
even the best player in League One, man. He's not. He
Well,
was 2 seasons ago. Last season he wasn't great. He was okay, but he wasn't great. This season, I know he's just like started getting his games on his belt, but he's not the best player in the division. Not by a lot. He isn't the top in assists. He isn't the top in goals. So how can we say he's the best player if he's not up there in stat wise?
yeah, I mean, I don't know whether he's the best player in the league, but I just think when we've seen him come back, because we obviously didn't see him play for a while, I think when we see him come back, I was like, wow, somebody, you can see, even if he doesn't always do a lot, you can see the quality he's got, you can see the potential, and then moments of magic that can come from absolutely nowhere. A bit like what Maguire used to do as well. Obviously, he's gone off the boil, but I still think he is definitely one of the best players in the league, but yeah, we need to see more of him since he hasn't had a full season. So
I don't agree. He's even one. I don't even think he's the best player on the squad. I mean, he's late. Like he is lazy. I think he doesn't give the left back much help. I mean, the game on Saturday, I seen him get skinned a couple of times, and he never chased to try and win the ball back. He just let the person run past him and didn't chase him back. I think he does. He is a bit lazy. I think. Even attacking wise, I mean, I know he got his goal. I think he scored 2 this season, but most of the time when he cuts in and shoots, it goes straight over the bar. I mean, he's losing the quality. I'm starting to think he's just an average League One player now. I really do. Who's on good wages? That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, though.
No, that's fair enough. Like you see, it's all about opinions. I think he's on about 16 grand a year, isn't he? Something like that. A week, sorry.
16 grand a week.
16
I'm on more than 16 grand a year, man.
Yeah, it's because I haven't had a beer yet. It's too early, so I get my words mixed up. But yeah, he is. I think he's on 16 grand a week. Something like that. He should be performing better. But anyway, you're right. It is about opinions. We'll move on to a few questions here. We'll talk about the sort of current situation at the club a little bit later. I want to know a little bit more about your experience as being a Sunderland fan. So, one of the first questions I've got down here is, what's your first, worst, and best moments being a Sunderland fan? Obviously, you can tell us them in any order. There's probably loads of worst ones you can think of. But yeah, if you can think off the top of your head, just something that comes to mind, like first, best, and worst.
Me first. See, I used to go to games when I was a kid, but my attention wasn't always on the football. It was just being in the stadium. So I don't really remember much about the games because I was more just looking at the crowd and people swearing behind us. I was more intrigued about what's going on in the crowd than what was on the pitch at the time.
Yeah.
But my first memory is when we were playing Chelsea. I think it might have been a 1-1 and we missed a pen or something. This was when Chelsea weren't that good. I remember just Kevin Phillips and Niall Quinn playing up front because Niall Quinn just stuck out from a mile away because he was that tall. That's probably my first memory. It was definitely against Chelsea, my first memory. Worst memory, I mean, you could easily put it down to the time, well, the playoff final. You could put that down, but for me, I think it was a semi-final playoff game against Crystal Palace, and we went to extra time, and them scored in extra time, and I think it went to penalties, and we got beat on penalties. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what season it was, but I bawled my little eyes out. It was when we had like I think I'm trying to think of some of the players we had. I'm sure we had John Oster at the time.
Yeah.
He was one of the players because he missed one of the penalties. And what was the other one? Sorry.
First, worst, and best.
Best. Right. Best. Best memory. Oh, best memory.
Uh,
Probably beating Man United in the was it the League Cup semi-final on
yeah,
penalties.
yeah,
I mean, I didn't get to go to Wembley because obviously it was impossible to get tickets. It was ridiculous to get tickets at them. But just to see my team win against Man United, who at the time was a strong team, on penalties to go to a cup final.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you cannot beat that feeling and knowing that your team's going to Wembley.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've only ever been to Wembley once in my life, and that was against that was in the Checkatrade recently. And oh god, I mean, going to the stadium's fantastic. The whole day, the beers beforehand, and meeting up with people, absolutely loved it. But when you go out like that, it's a horrible feeling. Were you there?
I was there for the Checkatrade and I was
Yeah,
there for the playoff final. But yeah,
yeah,
the Checkatrade one was hard to take. I know it was just for me. It was a day out. If we got beat, we got beat. It wasn't the main objective. But for
yeah.
me, the whole point of the Checkatrade for me was just the weekend away in London with me friends, watching my team, hopefully to win. But the way we got beat with
Hmm.
Lee Cattermole missing the penalty, it was at the time I didn't want to admit it, but it was quite heartbreaking because it was like the chance was there in Lee Cattermole, who shouldn't have even took the penalty. We had
Yeah,
Charlie White on the pitch, and we had other players who should have been further forward than Cattermole to take penalties, but Cattermole had the balls to step up, and
yeah.
unfortunately the keeper saved it. It's just one of them things, but I was gutted, to be fair. I really was gutted that we didn't win it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I didn't think I'd be that bothered. I mean, I'm not bothered like about the pizza cup trophies and things like that. But yeah, at the end of the game, I mean, I don't see my brother very often. I live down south. I live in Essex. All my family live in the northeast. So, I met up with him, and I just loved the whole thing. But just by the end of it, we were both like well sick. So it's amazing how it affects you. I mean, it shouldn't really, but right. What we got next? What do you actually love, mate, about being a Sunderland fan? Is it got its perks? Has it got its pros?
um, well, you can't really at the minute. It doesn't have any pros because we're in League One and the team's not playing very well. We're not out in the stadium. But the thing I love about our fans, they're dead down to earth. They
Yeah,
do. They're dead down to earth. Great. The singing in the stadium. I know it's died down a little bit in the last couple of years because obviously people have lost a bit of passion with we're going down to this league. But in the Premier League days, the stadium was always about 40,000. Um, Sitting in the southwest at the time was the noisy corner,
yeah,
and when it used to be the derbies were awesome. I mean, just home game derbies were awesome because it wasn't just the Southwest who sang, it was the whole stadium who sang when it was against Newcastle. And the atmosphere was great. But if anything to say about our fans, was so down to earth. We're not deluded. We we don't expect much. We just want the team to give 100%, and we're happy.
yeah, exactly. I've heard Michael Bowers here on his channel, and I think on SAFCFanTV. We're not expecting like miracles to be up there in the Premiership, just putting in decent performances and like the players looking like they want to get out of this league. And I think he's spot on with that, to be honest. Do you have a pre-match ritual? I have a pre-match ritual when I go to the matches up there, like things I do every time. Like I'll have beers. I get a burger from the same burger van before I go in, and then beers after in the same pubs, meeting the same people. Do you have a ritual?
Um, Not really. Before doing the SFC Fan TV with Sean, I would literally get up there a half an hour before kickoff. Sorry, I'd go and park in my normal place. It's like a secret place where not many people park because you're allowed to park there, but there's only limited spaces. So I try and get there before everyone else does. So I park there. I
Hang on,
walk
hang
this.
on. Come on, tell us. Where is
I'm
it?
not telling. I'm not telling because there'll be no spaces for me. So I park where I park. Hopefully, no one knows where that is. And I walk the stadium. I go and stand where my seat is, which is in the southwest. And my brother and his friends come along because there's a group of us who like sit at the top of the southwest
Mm,
and watch the game. I don't have any rituals. I mean, when I was doing SAFC Fan TV with Sean and while out on the ground, me and him would go to the Deaf Club. We
oh yeah.
normally actually would pop into the Wheat Chief
Mm.
maybe have one in there because that does get packed in there, and you can't even get to the bar. Watch Philly for a little bit because he is funny, and then would pop up to the Deaf Club for one or well he would have one or two because I've got the car, so I can't have a drink, so he would have one or two in the Deaf Club, and then would walk down to the match, and then I'd go and sit where I sit, he sits where he sits, and then about 85 minutes, me and him would go and meet in his corner, get set up, and then just wait for the fans to come out to get interviewed. But I
Yeah,
don't have like a drinking ritual or anything like that. I literally try and turn up half an hour before, get in the stadium, watch it, then leave.
yeah, yeah. I suppose since you started doing this with the channel, the whole setup's got to change for you, isn't it? So you probably even missed goals, have you, at the end of
Yeah,
games?
we've missed Gillingham when 2-2 last season because we were out, we were winning 2-1, we're setting up. We had a massive cheer. Well, it wasn't massive because Gillingham didn't bring that many up, but we heard a cheer and everyone was going, "They've just scored! I didn't believe it! I didn't believe it!" And that funny enough, that was the last home game we were allowed to be at with fans.
All right.
And we've missed one or two goals. We've missed one where we've scored, but we're winning anyway. So it's like it is a bit crap when you miss goals, but like you say, we get out to set up to interview fans.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Right, well, we'll move on a little bit towards the actual club. First of all, I want to ask you a couple of things about players. Who is your all-time Sunderland player, favourite Sunderland player, and why? Obviously.
The only person I'll ever say is my best favourite player is Kevin Phillips. I mean, everyone will know Kevin. Well, if you don't know Kevin Phillips, obviously you might have not been a Sunderland fan at that time because Michael Bowers doesn't even know who Kevin Phillips was because he wasn't into football back then. But he's the only footballer I've ever got on the back of my Sunderland shirt.
Yeah,
And I seen him in, I remember the days when, well, everyone's seen the season of 98, 99 when we went up with 105 points and Kevin Phillips was just on fire that season. I think he's the only Englishman to ever get the
Golden
golden
Boot.
boot, which
Yep.
is like more than like other leagues. I know people might say it was in the championship or whatever, but he scored like 30 to 40 goals that season, better than anyone in the world. And even Alan Shearer doesn't lead claim to that, so that's a proud achievement in itself.
Yeah,
And he was just an all-round Sunderland superstar. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? He was just amazing. What a striker! I mean, we haven't had well, you could probably put Darren Bent in there. Well, we haven't had a striker like Kevin Phillips since probably maybe Darren Bent.
yeah, yeah. And Defoe as well, I think, was really good.
Defoe, yeah, sorry, yeah, Defoe, true as well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Kevin Phillips, absolute legend. One of the lads on the channel, Matthew, he's got Sunderland 11. He gets some great guests on there, and they pick their favourite 11 players, and almost everybody picks Kevin Phillips. Just totally, and I feel sorry for the younger lads that never got a chance to see it. We've got Jack Dodds and Matthew, obviously, Umar that come on, and they've never actually experienced what it was like to see Sunderland play good football, and I suppose that's why a lot of them are not bothered about performances because they've just seen crap football for such a long time. Which I think it's a shame, but I'm glad. I mean, I didn't even think you were old enough to have seen Kevin Phillips. He must have
Oh
been
yeah,
quite young.
Kevin Phillips was just. Well, I'm a '92 baby,
Ah, all right.
so
Yeah,
I see because I can't remember when he left with, but I seen him in the Prem. I seen him in the Division One, as it was known as at the time.
yeah,
Um, yeah, he's just a great player, and when he comes up, everyone's still in awe of him. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? I mean, you can't say no bad about him.
No,
He's just a great player, and I do hope one day he gets to manage Sunderland because I feel like everyone's going down that route. Solskjaer with Man U, Lampard with Chelsea. I'd love
yeah.
to see Phillips with Sunderland.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of the fans they say they don't want to see his record tarnished. If for some reason we have bad seasons, he ends up getting sacked, and they think a lot of the fans will turn on him. Maybe some of the younger fans that never got to see him might turn on him, but I don't think anybody that knows what he's actually done for the club would ever turn on him. Would you agree with
I,
that?
I couldn't turn on. I mean, at the end of the day, managers can only do so much.
Yeah,
Them pick the team, do tactics, but if them players can't go out and do what he says, it's on the players, not the manager. The manager can only do so much, make substitutions, make changes to formations and all that stuff. It's the players who ultimately go out there and need to prove themselves on the pitch. And that's why when you change a manager, you don't really see a lot change because it's the same group of players. It's as simple
yeah.
as that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I don't think many people can argue with Kevin Phillips. What about your current Favourite Sunderland player in the team? Who would you say that was?
There's only one person for me, Luke O'Nien. I
Yeah,
mean, he is everything a footballer should be, personality-wise. I mean, I've spoken to him once or twice on away games, and he's just been nothing but amazing. He's just so down to earth. He doesn't walk around like I play for Sunderland, you're below me. He's got time for everybody.
yeah,
And I mean, everyone says he hasn't got the best ability in the world. I believe he's one of the best players we've got. He's got energy. When he gets the ball, he actually uses it effectively. Yeah, he doesn't take on 5 players and have a shot, but he's just always there. He's got bags of energy. He has got quality on the ball, and he pops up with the odd goal. And I just think every footballer should be like Luke O'Nien, because no one can say you can't say nothing bad about the bloke. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You can't say nothing bad about him, and I do hope he has a really good career. To be fair, I'd like to see him in the championship with us if we ever get there.
yeah.
But if we lose him, he'll be a massive miss, 100%.
I totally agree. I think he's very underrated, not just like obviously his footballing ability, but his character as well. We've seen him when he fell over into the as a Pompey fans when he's getting kicked and punched. He just gets up, smiles, and walks away. You know, what I mean, like not many players has got that sort of character. And I've heard the amount of fans that have turned around and says he'll stop and chat with them. I think somebody was telling us he held up the team bus. He was standing talking to them. I think it might have been Deano. So sorry, Sean or one of the younger lads. But yeah, things like that. I mean, that's what all footballers. They're not full of themselves. You know, headphones on, head down, like they are in the Premiership. He's just a different class on and off the pitch. I think.
See, he's one of these players who actually appreciates that he plays for Sunderland. Like
Yeah,
where some don't really care. Like he appreciates the opportunity he's got, and he knows that it could propel him further. And if he gets to the Premier League one day, good luck to him. But I think he's a role. He is what I call a proper role model.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. I don't think anybody can argue with that either. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about them. Moving on quickly, just slightly away from Sunderland. Do you have any other teams that you follow or have a soft spot for, or any other sports even?
South Shields. I mean, I'm from South Shields. I've got a soft spot for them. I used to be a ball boy for them back in the good old days where they were very low down in the leagues and there was no money. They
Mhm.
still play that where they do now, but it was just grass in one stand. Now
Yeah,
it's got like a couple of stands. It's being well invested in now. But back in the day, I mean, my cousin used to play for them as a striker, and the funny thing is, he was called Striker. His second name was Striker, and he played up front. And yeah, I've got a soft spot for them. And when they went to Wembley, I went. 100%
yeah.
I went. Support the team. And to be fair, South Shields took 15,000 fans down to Wembley.
Wow. A
That's
lot of, were them a lot, some like them Sunderland fans as well, were they? Do you think?
Well, I went, my dad went, my brother
Yeah.
went, my brother's a Sunderland fan.
Mhm.
Yeah, just go down to support your local team. Why not? And to be
Yeah.
fair, we showed up. We showed fans of other teams up. I mean, we're not even in the national. South Shields aren't even in the National League, and
Yeah.
they take 15,000 fans down. Just shows they do have the support there.
It does. Did they actually win that game?
Yeah, the one I think it was a. If I'm correct, I'm sure it was about 4-5-0. It was Julio Elgar played in the middle.
For
Julio
next.
Elgar was a centre midfielder. Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't even know he went there.
yeah. Julio Elgar was there for a good 3 to 4 years, I think, and you could tell he was a class above. I think he played centre midfield most of the time, and he was a class above. He was class. He was a really
Yeah.
good player.
And
And but like you say, Barley Mumba's been there on loan and
mhm.
and shined. It's a Sunderland and South Shields seem to have a bit of a relationship because they had a friendly. I think it was last season for pre-season.
Yeah.
We've sent players on loan there, like Jordan Hunter, who's signed there permanently now. So it's like there's a little relationship there between South Shields and Sunderland at the moment.
Yeah, it's nice to say, like big brother, little brother, sort of looking out for each other. I really do like that. If I lived in the northeast, I think I'd be highly tempted to go and check out a few of their games if we were allowed into the stadiums. Obviously, how are they doing in the league? Are they doing all right?
Well, last season they were walking the league. I think they were about 9 points clear, and they cancelled the league, didn't they? They
Oh yeah,
cancelled the league, so they couldn't go up this season. I'm not 100% sure, but they did get through to I think it was the third round of the FA Cup, and
all
they played
right.
a league. I think they played a League Two team and only got beat 2-1.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I definitely have to go and check them out once we're allowed back up there. I think. Right, moving back to Sunderland, we'll go to a little bit more of current affairs. Sorry if I'm looking down, it's because I've got trouble
Yeah, it's
memory,
fine.
so I have to look at my questions. Lee Johnson and his time with Sunderland so far, he hasn't obviously been here that long. He's had upsets with COVID, games being postponed. How do you rate him so far and what you've seen? Are you happy, or are you just still, does he need a bit more time for you?
I'm happy. At the time, I was like, he's not my number one choice. I wanted someone like Gary. Was it Daniel Stendel?
Yeah,
I was going to say Gary Stendel there for some reason. Don't know why. I wanted Stendel because he got Barnsley promoted. Was it
yeah,
Barnsley? It was Barnsley, wasn't it?
yeah. I think it was. Yeah,
He
Barnsley.
got Barnsley promoted, and he plays attacking football. And I feel like our strengths are we've got attacking players, but we just don't know how to use them. But Lee Johnson's come in. He hasn't had very long. I like the way he changes his systems up because he's tried different formations. He didn't just wasn't stubborn and just played the same formation. He's went 4-3-3, 4-2-2-2. He's trying different things. He's making substitutions at right times and using the players he's got on the bench, which I do like because Phil Parkinson wouldn't make changes. He could make 5 substitutions and make 1 or 2. I mean, you've got to use your substitutions. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
And he's fresh. He's young and fresh, and he will learn. And like people say, he built Bristol City. He took them when they were in relegation zones. He got them promoted. And like you say, we're making signings, and I'm only guessing that these are his signings. We needed a left back. He's got one. We needed another striker. He's got one. We needed a pacey winger. He's got one. And we needed something different in midfield. He's got that in Winchester, but we still don't know how to rate Winchester at the minute because he did come from the league below. So, but it is positive signs. I mean, I seen a poll. People wanted him out.
I
People
know.
want him out already.
That was Jalsey, wasn't it? I think he did a poll on his YouTube. I think it's only a small percentage, something like 18.
17, I think.
Yeah,
He's
yes,
17.
something like that. And but even that, I could understand maybe somebody who doesn't know much about football voting, but that's a lot of people voting him out already.
I mean, who do they want?
Yeah,
I've even said even Jurgen Klopp couldn't do much with this squad. I said it from the start of the season. I don't think the squad's good enough to get top 2 or even get in the playoffs because we're not the best squad in the league. Far from it.
yeah,
Yeah, we've got the best defence, but going forward wise, we are poor. We don't control games. There's a lot wrong with that squad. We lack pace. We lack power. We lack a lot. And I'm
yeah,
hoping Lee Johnson figures out how to get the best system to get the best out of these players because clearly that's not working at the minute.
yeah. Do you think we stand a chance of being promoted automatically, or is that gone? Are we just going to be hopeful of trying to get a playoff position now?
For me, automatic is possible because mathematically it is possible, but the players can't put a consistent run together. We drop points against the teams who should be winning, but win the teams who we shouldn't really be beating. So it's a consistency thing. If you can stay consistent, you'll go up no problem. But that's the thing. Sunderland aren't consistent. We dropped points Saturday, even though we took the lead twice. We dropped points against Plymouth, a team on paper we should be beaten. But I've always says just because it says on paper we've got a better team doesn't mean nothing. You've got to go out there and perform. And we dropped points that game because that is a team we should beat, but we didn't because the players didn't turn up, and Plymouth did turn up and beat us.
Yeah,
So it's a consistent. If you can't stay consistent, what's the point? And
yeah,
that's the thing about Sunderland. We haven't got consistency, and that's why I don't think we'll get playoffs.
yeah. No, I totally agree with everything you said there. If we were to go, see, this is just a hypothetical. I know you need a crystal ball, but just for a bit of fun, if I was to say, Dano, there's £1,000 of my money. Whatever you win is yours, and just give us £1,000 back. When would you bet on Sunderland being back in the Premiership?
Oh God.
I've had quite a wide variety of people saying 3 years and longer. What's your thoughts?
I reckon we're going to be in this league for at least this year. Definitely, I think we're not going to go up this year, but I think next year will be our year.
Mhm.
And then the championship season, I could see we're in there for a good 4 or 5 seasons. So I'm going to say about 7 years.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I've had somebody else say the similar, and I think it's a bit more realistic, even though it's a horrible thought to think that. But you never know. We might get promoted this season. We might be playing derbies next season as well. So fingers crossed for that one. Right, we've got 2 games coming up against the same team at the same stadium. One of them in this Pizza Cup thing, and one in the league. I was going to say Hull there. Who is it?
MK Dons.
MK Dons. Sorry, I lost it. Are you bothered about the cup for a start? Do you want us to win it? Does it matter? If we get beat, does it affect the team? That sort of thing. What are you thinking there?
I'm thinking I want to win it just for the first season where we're in it and we didn't win it. I just want to win it just so I can say, right, we've won it. I know everyone says it's Tim Pot, but this is the league we're in. This is the competition we have to be in. So why not win it? I mean, we're in the FA Cup and League Cup every season, but we don't come anywhere near. So what's the point in being in them if we know we can't win it, but being in this and we know we can win it? Just win it. If we don't win it, fair enough. But I'd like to win it. Why not? It's a cup at the end of the day. It's another chance to go to Wembley, get experience for Wembley, because if you do get there in the playoff final, you've already been to Wembley once and you've got the experience of a big game in a big stadium.
Yeah.
So I would say, win it. But if not, it's not the end of the world. I know in this trophy, you've got to play a minimum amount of first team players. And I think that's a good time to chuck in the likes of Ross Stewart if he's eligible, Jordan Jones, Carl Winchester, Luke O'Nien, because Luke O'Nien's only been getting 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe Danny Graham just to save, or Ross Stewart just to save Charlie White from getting injured or possibly getting injured. And maybe chuck Anthony Patterson in if he can.
Yeah.
Give Berger rest or Remy Matthews, doesn't really matter. And if we get beat, not the end of the world. If we win, great. Go on to the next round. But the main objective is the league. The main objective is the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've been beat off MK Dons this season already, or did we draw? I can't really remember.
You're asking the wrong person. My memory's terrible. I can't remember either.
I can't remember. I don't think we won.
Yeah.
So it's either a defeat or a draw. But yeah, we can beat MK Dons, but it all depends on what team turns up.
Yeah.
For Sunderland anyway. If we don't turn up, MK Dons will beat us because they are capable of beating us. Don't think otherwise, that we just, we're Sunderland. Because I don't like this narrative, we're a big club, we should be beating teams. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. If that's the case, what's the point in playing in the league if we're a big club? It doesn't work like that.
I get what you're saying. I do always say, though, I know this is probably something you're going to disagree with. I refuse to predict draws or defeats in this league. I think the team is more than capable of beating any team on paper, and I'm not saying that they should, but I believe they're more than capable. And I just, for me, people predicting a defeat is like, well, we might as well just not watch it. We're not be bothered about it. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point if you're already thinking we're going to get beat? I hate that kind of negativity. So
you'll hate me then. You'll hate me then.
Well, I get why you see it. I know it's a bit more realistic, but I think, if we all think positive, it might work a bit better. Do you know what I mean?
You're saying it might work. Me predicting we'll win or get beat or anyone, it does make a difference because at the end of the day, we don't play the game.
Yeah.
And I'll try and look at it realistically. I try and say where are they in the league, who's in the best form. And most of the time, I mean, against Ipswich, I think I predicted we're to get beat against Ipswich 1-0 because I just thought we didn't play very well against, I think it was Shrewsbury. We just scraped past them. And I thought Ipswich away, it's going to be a hard game. 100% it's going to be a hard game. And I just don't think the lads can cope with Ipswich. So I say we'll get beat 1-0. Funny enough, we won 1-0. But I know then went down to 10 men, makes a massive difference. If it was 11v11, it might have been a totally different story, but it wasn't. We won the game. And then we get beat off, who was it? Who we just played?
Shrewsbury.
No. We drew against Gillingham. So you beat Ipswich, and then everyone's right. We're gonna tear Gillingham. We're gonna tear Gillingham a new one. We're gonna beat them 4-0. But yeah, Gillingham won 4-1 the game we played Ipswich. So on form, I was like, oh, this is still not an easy game. Every time we played Gillingham, we drew last year, and they've done exactly the same as they did last year. Nicked a last minute goal and drew over.
Is that just inconsistency? Is that all it is down to? Why did we not win that game?
Because we couldn't cope with their work rate and physicality. They bullied us. They really did. I know we took the lead twice. We got lucky with the penalty. I thought it was soft, but the referee gave it. Fair enough. But we couldn't handle their style. I mean, we did handle it for most of the game. We'd done very well because it was just long balls at the box, long throw-ins. It was like Stoke. It was like, but one if you switch off for 1 second against a team like that, they will capitalise. And let's not forget, Lee Burge tipped one onto the bar, which was a great save.
Mm-hmm.
Ledbetter made a great last ditch tackle against Ayakinde, which would have probably ended up in the back of the net. And they hit the post off an overhead kick from a throw in. So technically, in that game, we could have got beat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, totally agree. Right, so give us a prediction for the. No, I'm not bothered about the Pizza Cup. Give us a prediction for the league game against MK Dons.
At the minute, my favourite scoreline's 1-0 Sunderland, because I feel like we can always score a goal, and we do have the best defensive record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say 1-0, because I don't feel it. Because the only person who's scoring goals at the minute is Charlie Wyke, and that's a bad thing when one person is scoring.
Yeah. Oh, I think you might have gone. It's froze with a nice look on your face.
What happened there?
Yeah, sorry, you froze with a strange look on your face. I don't know whether it was my end or your end, but
It might have been mine. It might have been mine. But there's not enough goals getting spread around the team. We're just relying on one man at the minute, and when he's not scoring, nobody else is really chipping in with stuff.
yeah.
So I always say 1-0 because I feel like we can always get one goal, but I feel like we can stay out game. Well, we can keep a clean sheet because we've got the best clean sheet record in the league, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and I think best away record, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right as well. I don't think we're being beat away.
No, I think it's 6 draws and 5 wins, something like that. But yeah, I'll take a 1-0 win. I would like to see a good performance, but we'll see what happens there. We could talk about the team on. Is there any? I don't want to go into massive detail, but is there any sort of changes you would like to see in place for that game or formation change?
I'd like to go to the 4-3-3. I feel like three in the middle is safer. Because no matter what, your right wing and your left wing always drop back anyway. It's like what everyone does now. Even if you're left wing and right, if you're left wing, right wing, or right mid, left mid, everyone still drops deep and gets back and helps each other.
Yeah.
But I feel like a 3 in the midfield, it gives we more options to pass the ball. You can make triangles because I don't see we're making enough triangles with this formation. It's just 1-2 then hoof, make triangles. Stuff like that. You've got Charlie Wyke who's banging the goals in. You've got someone like McGeady, Diamond, and Gooch who can play on the wings, get down the line and whip them in. I feel like the 4-3-3 would be ideal, just for the players we've got. I would like to probably say John Jones in there. I think Diamond's had a bit of a poor 1 or 2 games, so I'd like to see him come in. Keep McGeady on because he did score on Saturday, which will only do him confidence-wise. I think you need to bring Luke O'Nien in. I do. I think it's time for him to get into the team now instead of just having 5 minutes. Who do you drop him for?
Scowen.
Oh, I thought Scowen played all right on Saturday. I thought he broke the play up really well.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, he has had poor games, yeah. So has everyone. But if you're going to play for 3 in the centre, it's got to be Ledbetter, probably Scowen just for his work rate, and maybe try Luke O'Nien because we've seen the Winchester one and it didn't. I don't think it really worked. I think Luke O'Nien just gives you something different.
Yeah. I'd love to see him back as well. I think we both said one of our favourite players. He's just fantastic. But I don't know whether it's because of his shoulders still not right. But 5 minutes, if he's on the bench, he should be more than capable of at least playing a half, I would say. So we'll see what happens.
100%.
Right. One main last question, and I'll ask you a little bit more after that about SAFCFanTV or. This question is what I ask everybody. There's a bit of a league table. I forgot to store it in the software here, but it's called the Hate League table, and we've got quite a few people on it now. I'm not going to give you the names just yet, but like, if there's any player or any manager in any league of any time that you absolutely hate, you want this person's name on the list, who would you pick?
At the time, he's not a manager no more, but Joey Barton, for me,
Yeah.
Joey Barton when he was at Fleetwood, but he's no longer a manager, so I don't think that counts, does it?
No accounts of any time. So
Of any time.
yeah, I think give us a second. I'll get it up here because I can just get it straight off my computer. Desktop, and we've got here to table. Right, so you can imagine who. Do you know who's top? Have you seen this table before or not?
I haven't seen the table, no.
Right, okay. There you go. We've got,
Joey Barton's up there.
yeah, he's top with 7. Well, now it'll be 8. We've got David Moyes on 2, Steve Evans 1, Jack Rodwell, who's understandable, Gordon Taylor, and obviously Alan Shearer's only got 1. So interesting.
Oh, do they have to be a manager?
No, there can be any player, manager of any team from any time.
Oh, I thought it was just managers.
No, if there's somebody above him, we can change it. It's up to you, mate.
Oh God. I'm trying to think of someone who's played for Sunderland who I couldn't stand. Don't get us wrong, Jack Rodwell is up there, 100% just for what he did.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I could easily chuck Ndong Delaboji in that conversation, or even Asamoah Jan for the way he did what he done, where he just took the money instead of playing in a hard league. He took the
Yeah.
money, but I want to try and be different. I want to try and add someone else to the league.
That's what
But
people's been doing. But if it's Joey Barton, stick with Joey Barton. You know what I mean? If that's what it is.
yeah, it's got to be Joey Barton on it. He just doesn't seem like a nice person. I mean, he's been in jail for assault. As a manager, he's assaulted picking other managers. He's assaulted his own players. He's been in for betting frauds and all that when he was up in Rangers. He's just an absolute knob.
Yeah.
Joey Barton, 100%.
It's got to be, even for me. I mean, I haven't voted because I've only asked the guests, but I think I would pick him. He's so unprofessional. Like, he's just trying to wind Sunderland fans up. What professional manager after the game would just want to wind fans up? For me,
Joey Barton, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. It's pathetic. It's not very professional, in my opinion. But yes, that is the actual final question. I just want to ask you as well. Obviously, you're doing lots on SAFCFanTV. There's a two. You've got 2 shows, a Sunday and a Thursday.
Yeah, Sunday, Thursday. I have the live streams when the matches are on,
When the
which
match,
I have been taking part in that just because obviously people sometimes can't make it, and I say I'll jump on if you want.
yeah,
But the first question you asked is how I got into it. I remember I just want to be behind the camera. I didn't want to show my face on camera and be in the not in the limelight, but I didn't want to show my face on camera because I don't like the way I look. You know, I've never liked the camera on my face or anything like that, so I thought I'd be behind the camera. And I remember when Sunday Bunch was just getting started, and they had I think, what was his name? Mackham Summit, Nathan. I can't remember his name.
oh yeah, yeah. He swears a lot.
Aye, yeah, he swears a lot.
I
They had
can't
the
remember.
likes of I can't either. They had the likes of him on, and they were just starting out. And then I remember Sean went onto it, and then Sean asked me if I could fill in for a week, and I did. And I think it was a really good show. And I think Philly like what I had to say, and thought I added to the Sunday Bunch. So he kept asking us, "Do you want to do this week? Do you want to do this week?" And it just come a regular thing where I'd be on the Sunday Bunch, and I was enjoying it. I love the crap with the lads with Terry and Philly and Michael and Sean and that. It was a really good laugh. I love them Sundays where we could just go to the pub, have a dinner, go upstairs, do the recording, and then I'd watch it on the night time just to say,
Yeah,
just so I could watch it again to see what was actually said, because sometimes you forget.
yeah.
And then obviously the Thursday, obviously we're locked down, we started doing it over online, which I didn't mind. And I remember I'd done one time where Sean was missing. Sean didn't do, I think he was ill, and it was a Tuesday game. It was a midweek game, and I ended up doing the interviews. And I didn't want to do it, but I thought I'm gonna dig the channel out the shit a little bit. I'm gonna help.
I remember seeing that actually. Yeah,
I think we got beat, that game as well. So
yeah,
it wasn't very nice, because obviously I've got to ask people, do you want to interview after we're just getting beat? But it was a home game,
yeah.
and it wasn't too bad. I thought I'd done it quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, I'm not bothered anymore. Like at first I was like really camera shy, didn't want to be on the camera and all that stuff. And now I'm not too bothered.
Yeah,
I'm a grown man. If someone wants to insult us for how I look or how I talk or if I'm negative and I don't really care. That's your opinion at the end of the day. If you want to hate us for what I say, that's up to you.
yeah. I was going to say, do you think the experience of being online, getting your face out, and actually being in front of people at the games, has it changed you much? Give you a bit of a confidence boost in yourself?
I wouldn't say it's given us a confidence boost, but I've just realised everyone's got an opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, if someone doesn't like you for the way you sound or the way you talk, or if you're negative, positive, that's up to the other person.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? It just shows that they don't have the respect for my opinion because they'll go on to insult us for being so negative or the way I am. If I'm fat, if I'm ugly, or whatever. I'm a bit more thick-skinned to it now.
Yeah. I think you've got to be if you're a bit of a fragile person, being online and getting yourself out there, like obviously not being online, but like if you're getting your face out in front of like thousands of people in your case, like all over the world. In fact, you have to have a slightly thick skin, I'd say. Otherwise, you're going to be sucking your thumb in bed with tears streaming down your face. uh,
Good point.
so, do you think there's ever a possibility of you maybe having your own channel like Cherry has and Matthew, or is it something you're not really interested in?
I've I've got no interest at all. I mean, like you say, I didn't really want to do the SAFC Fan
Mm.
TV being on camera. I was just happy enough to stay behind. But my life's the most boringest life you've ever seen. Literally, like I don't do anything. I'm not interested. I've just got no interest. I'm just happy enough to do what I'm doing now. And when if a time does come and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore, like SAFC Fan TV, I'll just walk away. But at the minute, I'm enjoying it. I've met loads of new people. I mean, I've met the likes of you over
Yeah.
this. You know, I've made good friends. You know,
Hmm.
I've been golfing with the Mad Mistake. You know, I've played football with Michael and Sean and all them. Obviously, when we played Newcastle Fan TV, I've made good friends,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about, really. At the
Yeah,
end of
no,
the day.
totally agree. And I do have to disagree in the fact that you said you're not interested because I think they wouldn't have had you on the show and I wouldn't be having you on here if I didn't think you were interested. I thought one of the people, I even spoke to people, a couple of lads saying that you're coming on and they're really interested to watch you. So you've got something that people like to hear about. And I think a lot of people connect with you just from the sense that you are a bit more realistic, a bit more down, like sort of grounded, I suppose. And that's what a lot of fans want to be. I wish I was like that sometimes because being overly optimistic just gets you more kicks in the gut, really, especially with Sunderland.
Aye, so Sunderland. See, that's the thing. If you expect to win and you don't, you're more angry, you're more miffed. But if you didn't expect to win, so if I say, oh, I think we'll get beaten, we'll win, I'm like, oh, we won, great.
Yeah,
I didn't think we'd win. Then I can be more positive. But when we get beat and people are like, oh, we like when Michael, we should have won that way, or son, we should win these games, and he's more angry than I am because in half I do expect I expect a performance like that where we do get turned over. I don't expect to win every game. I mean,
yeah.
people live in a fantasy world if they think we're going to walk the league and win every game. It's not going to happen. Simple as that.
No, no, I agree. I am a bit more like Michael. Like in the reactions that I put out there, I'm really angry because I think even though I don't expect to win every game, like I said earlier, we are more than capable of winning every game. And
Oh, 100%.
I want to just say, I hate it, but we have to accept it. And I think you're just accepting it a bit easier than some of us do. Um, that's going to be it. Is there anything you want to say before I go? That's,
Like what?
I always ask that question. Some people say subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, blah blah blah. Is there anything that you want to say?
Well, I don't really use Twitter that much, as you well know. You sent me a message back in December, and I only just read it like 2 weeks ago or something, whatever it was. I mean, I'm not really on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I don't really do much on there. The only thing I can say is subscribe to SAFC Fan TV because that's where I am at. If you want to listen to my opinions or the other lads' opinions, but other than that, just if you're gonna call us out on Twitter saying I'm deluding, that just don't bother because I'm not gonna respond. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? If you've got something nice to say, thank you. You know, I do appreciate all like people who say nice things about us. But if you're going to call us out because you think I'm deluded or you think I talk nonsense, just don't put it on Twitter because I don't read it.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time and my time and everyone else's time, really.
That's fair enough. Let them waste the time if you don't care. I totally agree with you. Sometimes I'll get negative comments. I just say thanks for watching. You know, like a simple reply. They never really sort of respond back to that because they can obviously tell that it hasn't bothered you. So yeah, really do appreciate it. That is it. We've been on here a little while now. It's been absolutely fantastic getting to know you a little bit better and a bit about your time being a Sunderland fan. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, thank you, families. It's been fun. Being on for 55 minutes only feels like we've been on for 20.
I know. I think Sean said the same thing. He says it flew by when you did it. You know, if you just talk like mates, it does. It just flies by. So, no, it's been fantastic. I hope everybody else that's watched it has enjoyed it. If you have, give us a little thumbs up, share it, leave a comment, all that sort of stuff, and subscribe naturally as well. Subscribe to SAFCFanTV. I'll put a link to their channel. I'm sure everybody that watches this channel will already be subscribed. But if you're new, just click the subscribe button. Fantastic set of lads, and they've worked really hard to get to where they are. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thanks very much for watching again. You guys take care, and for now, we'll see you later.